Modifications of stem. In this part, we are going to discuss about the different purposes for the modification of stem and the different characters that this modification bears. First, let's discuss about the purposes for the modifications. As we know that one of the foremost purpose of modification of stem is the storage of food. They simply store food in the underground part of the stem, and in that we get the different modifications of underground stem. Similarly, the other purposes are vegetative propagation, where they can give rise to new individuals from the vegetative part of the stem, protection, mechanical support, and synthesis of food. Now, let's discuss the modifications of the underground stem. In the modifications of underground stem, which is usually the lower part of the stem which is embedded in the soil, it consists of 5 types, that is tuber, rhizome, corm, bulb, and sucker. In this, we are going to at first start with the tubers. Tubers are oval or spherical in shape, which do not bear adventitious roots. Each tuber has a spirally arranged depression called eyes and represents nodes. It stores starch as reserve food material, and its examples are potato and dragon fruit. Generally, these tubers, they are round or spherical in shape, but they do not have a definite shape. So they may vary according to their shapes, and therefore the term it is given as a tuber. Now, the potatoes, they are the tubers. How do we know that they are the tubers? Because the potato, they consist of the nodes and the internodes. Now, where do we find the nodes there? So, nodes are the eye spots. There in the diagram, as you can see, that from these spots, axillary buds have come out, and during favorable condition, they gives rise to the new plant body. And these axillary branches, they are green aerial shoots. In this way, they also vegetatively propagate the plant body. Now, next comes the rhizomes. Rhizomes are generally the perennial underground main axis of the plant, which grows indefinitely below the soil surface, producing aerial leaves or reduced shoots above ground, and the adventitious roots on lower side in favorable season. They are fleshy and stores reserve food material, whereas they also vegetatively propagate the plant body. The examples of rhizome are ginger, turmeric, etc. The rhizomes also bear the nodes and the internodes, from where they sprouts during the favorable season to give rise to the new plant body. Now let's come to the next, that is bulb. Bulb is an underground spherical modified shoot having higher reduced disc-shaped stem and several fleshy scales enclosing a terminal bud. And there are 2 types of bulbs. These are the tunicated bulb. Examples, it is onion, garlic, and the scaly bulb, which is a lily. So in case of all these 3 examples, as you have seen, that there is always a lower disc or condensed structure from where the upper scaly bracts or the fleshy scales, they comes out. So this reduced compact structure, so that is the node of the stem, from where this fleshy bulbets it comes out, and right at the middle or at the center of the bulbs there is the apical bud. So whenever we keep the onions or the garlics for a few days, we can see that a axillary shoot, it comes out from the disc or the inner apical bud. So in case of bulbs, they have this particular structure. Mainly here in case of the bulbs, they do not store much of the reserve food material, but they bears fibrous adventitious roots at its base. And these bulbs, they generally perennate, or they pass out the unfavorable condition and vegetatively propagate the plant body in case of all these three examples. Then next comes the corm. Corm, it is the condensed fleshy solid, almost spherical and vertically growing rootstock with a large apical bud. And the example for the corm is Colocasia and the gladiolus. So in case of the corms, they have a vertically growing rootstock along with the large apical bud, which is a part of the stem, and it is usually unbranched. They bear several adventitious roots which arise from the nodes of the stem from its basal portion, and they also bear circular scales in the nodes and one or more axillary buds in the axils of the scaled leaves. So scaled leaves, these are mainly the non-green leaves that we can see, as for example in case of the onion or the garlic, the outer cover, that light covering, which is non-green in color, so these are called as the scaly leaves. So similarly in case of Colocasia, that is in Assamese, it will be called as the alukosu. So in case of that also, you can see that there are some scaly structures which occurs right at the nodes. Similarly, in case of the gladiolus also, you can see the scaly one, the gladiolus of the corm of gladiolus, that very much resembles with that of the onion. And also a very important plant, that is Kesar, whose scientific name it is crocus, that also bears the corm, and with the help of which they vegetatively propagate along with the storage of food. And lastly comes the shakar in case of the underground stem. Now shakar, it is a modified underground branch of the stem that arises from the axillary bud of the underground part of the aerial stem. So in the diagram, as you can see, that it is a modified part, and there always comes out the axillary bud from the underground part of the aerial stem. So here the example, it will be banana. Always near the parent plant, from the lower part of the stem, a branch grows obliquely below the surface of soil to a distance, and then again it emerges out in the form of an aerial shoot. And such type of underground branches of the stem is called as a shakar. So this is all about the different types of the modification of underground stem. Now let's come to the subaerial stem. In the subaerial stem, again there are three types. These are the runner, stolon, and the offset. Now in case of them, the purpose for the modification, it is for vegetative propagation, that is multiplication of the plant body with the help of the vegetative part, which is the subaerial stem that grows just above the soil surface. Now let's come to discuss the different types of subaerial stem. Runner, it is found in some creepers where the axillary buds from the lowest leaves gives rise to special narrow modified branches which creep over the surface of soil. Each modified branch is a basal internode of the axillary bud which elongates and trails along the soil, carrying the bud to a distance from the mother plant. So as you have seen in the diagram that a part of the stem has arisen just above the ground and it has bent down and it runs over the surface of the soil. That means it creeps over the surface of soil, and such plants are called as the creepers. We find such a type of creepers as the grasses. Then comes oxalis. Oxalis in Assamese it will be called as tengesi. Centella, that is manimuni, where by such runners they vegetatively propagate and spreads over a larger area. So this type of modification is called as the runner. Now next comes the stolon. Stolon are the special kinds of runners which initially grow upward like ordinary branches and then arcs down to develop new daughter plants in coming in contact with the soil. So from the diagram, I hope that all of you can understand what it is like. That firstly, it is formed from the lower node of the stem, and here in case of the stolon it grows upward, and after it grows upward again it gets bent and it arcs down, and as the tip it comes in contact with the soil, there it develops the adventitious roots and also it gives the sprouting for the new plant, daughter plant body. So such type of plants are the strawberry, mentha, that is mint or pudina, so chrysanthemum, etc. So such type of plants, they show stolon, where again they vegetatively propagate themselves. And at last comes the offset. Offset, it is just same as that of the runner, but here it is found in case of the aquatic plants where they are only one internode long condensed runner, which is found in rosetted plants, and such type of rosetted plants can be water hyacinth, pistia, etc. Otherwise it is same as that of runner, that it comes out from the lower nodes of the lower leaves and it is only one internode long. As you can see there in the diagram that it is only one internode long. So these are some few modifications of the subaerial stem where their purpose was for vegetative propagation. Now based on their developmental pattern or based on their growth pattern, they are named in different ways. Modification of aerial stem. Here aerial stem it is said because this is the part of the stem which is exposed to the outer part and it is undisturbed. So generally it is a part that is present with the air or it is free, and that is why it is called as the aerial stem. Now here the aerial stems, they modify because of different purposes. Now let's discuss the different purposes along with the name of the modifications. The first that comes is the stem tendril. Stem tendril. Now what are tendrils? Tendrils are long, thin, wiry and spirally coiled climbing organs of the plants. So in some plants we can see that the stem, it is not a stronger one, and therefore such type of stem, they needs a support to climb over another support. In that case the axils of the stem, they develops a long, thin and wire-like spirally coiled structures which are called as tendrils. And such type of tendrils we can see in cucurbits, that means in case of bottle gourd and dodder, etc., or in case of cucumbers, etc. So these are called as the stem tendril. Then comes stem thorn. In case of some plants, we observe that there are some sharp pointed structures. So here the axillary buds of some plants become arrested, it becomes condensed and gets modified into stiff, sharp and pointed structures called thorns. Here the thorns, they help for the purpose of protection from some grazing animals, and such kind of plants where we find thorn or similar is the spine. Spine, that is a smoother one or that is a less sharper one, which is called as the stem spine. So that we can observe it on citrus plant, that is the lemon plants or its related varieties, and rose plants, etc. So these are the basic two modifications of stem, where tendril, they are used for climbing or for mechanical support, and the thorns and the spines, they are used for the purpose of protection. Now next, let's come to an important one, which is called as the phylloclades. Phylloclades are those structures which are found in some xerophytes. Xerophytes here means those plants which lives in places where there is less rainfall, such as in case of deserts and all. So there what happens, that the stem, it gets modified. Now how do we see the modifications there? The leaves are highly reduced or modified into spines. There the leaves, they get highly reduced in their structure, and the stem, it gets swollen or it modifies into flattened structure, as we can see in case of Opuntia, Euphorbia, Casuarina, etc. And the stem, it takes the function of photosynthesis, as well as it stores water and the food material. And such type of swollen stems are called as phylloclades. So the phylloclades, they are some swollen fleshy structure where the stem, it gets modified for the purpose of photosynthesis and for storage of water and food material. So there the examples are Opuntia, or that we call to be as the cactus, then comes Casuarina, Euphorbia, etc. The similar type of modification that is seen, which is very much similar to that of phylloclade, that is called as the cladot. Now what is cladot? So these are modifications of stem and the branches of limited growth. That means here the branches, it doesn't grow longer, and the stems here, it takes the shape of flat green leaf-like structure, and in case of some plants, it also becomes cylindrical. That means the stem part, it resembles like that of a leaf, and this also performs the function of photosynthesis, such as the cladot of asparagus. Asparagus, in some countries it is used as a vegetable, and sometimes it is also used as an ornamental plant. Also, it is a very important medicinal plant. So this asparagus, in Assamese it is called as hotomul. There we find that each internode, it gets modified into green, flat or cylindrical leaf-like structures, and they performs the task of photosynthesis. So similar such structures, it can be seen as you can see in the diagram, in the picture, that it is found in case of asparagus, rascus, etc. And the last one, it is thalamus. As we know that on the stem flowers are born, and flower, that is a very important part of the plant body as it is the reproductive organ. Therefore, the flower is a specialized reproductive suit which possesses a highly condensed axis called the thalamus. In very simple words, we can say that this is the condensed part of the stem from where the flower is developed. So this thalamus, it can be right on the axil of the stem. Also, it can be at the tip portion of the stem. So very simply, thalamus is why the seat where the flowers are born, and normally it is found in every type of flower. Therefore, the example, that is rose, marigold, dahlia, etc. In some cases they are quite small, and in case of some flowers such as marigold, then dahlia, rose, we can see them prominently. So this is all about the modifications of the aerial stem. Now let's come to the last part of the stem, that is the functions of stem. At first, let's discuss about the primary functions of the stem. Stems, these are mainly meant to hold the leaves. As we know that leaves, these are the special organs on the root system which produces food. So the stem, it exposes the leaves towards sunlight so that it could receive maximum sunlight for the synthesis of food. The next important point, or the primary function of the stem, is that it conducts water and mineral salts from root to the leaves, and from leaves it conducts the organic food material to the other parts of the plant body towards the lower side. That is the next important function that a stem does. Then the third important function is that it also holds the flowers. As we know that the flowers, they are the reproductive organ on a plant body. So the stem, it holds the flowers and it facilitates the pollination and the fertilization process during reproduction. And lastly, when the flowers, it gets matured to form the fruits and the seeds, so the stem, it also bears the fruits and the seeds. So these are the primary functions of the stem. Now let's come to the secondary functions of the stem. Now, as we have discussed about the modifications of the stem, so there we found some purposes such as the storage of food. Say for example, the tubers, rhizomes, corm, bulb, etc. all they stored food, and because of that they became fleshy. So one of the secondary function of the stem is the storage of food. Then comes in case of the subaerial stem, so there we have seen the purpose of vegetative propagation. So with the help of the stem, as they trails around the soil, and where the aerial stem, it creeps over the soil surface, so from that they does the vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation. So that is the next important secondary function that is done by the stem, that is vegetative propagation or reproduction that takes place through stem. Then comes the third one, which is called as perennation. So the word perennation, it means that when a part of the plant body, it holds itself and it passes one adverse condition, and later it again grows into a new plant body. This whole phenomenon, it is called as perennation. So in case of the tubers, in case of rhizomes, so all these are perennating organs in case of the plant, in case of the stem that the plant body holds. So that is the third important function. Then we found that some plants, they bear thorns and spines, etc. And these structures of the plant body. It helps them in protecting themselves from the grazing animals. Then comes that some plants such as cactus, aloe vera, etc., or in case of the xerophytic plants, they also does the process of photosynthesis. Say for example, in case of the cactus, where the stem it is called as the phylloclade. Then comes in case of asparagus, cladodes. So here the stem, they also synthesizes food. So they also does the process of food synthesis. And lastly, the stem, it also helps them in climbing in case of the weak stems. So these are the secondary functions of the stem. So with this, we finish the first part of the shoot system, that is stem. So if you have any doubt, feel free to clear those doubts. Thank you.